All right, it's been way too long since I opened a Mety Toys and I am very excited. So this is the Tiger Adventurer, as far as I can tell, an original character from Mety Toys who has been making some incredible fantasy figures in the kind of larger scale. We're getting like orcs and like a two-headed ogre and some like definitely not World of Warcraft stuff. It's all excellent and complements lines like Savage Crucible and Mythic Legions really, really well. Okay, let's open this box. All right, here he is out of the box. Let's play with him. So let's start with just seeing how he handles right out of the box. And yep, this feels like a Mety Toys, and that is a good thing. These are very big, chunky, but like still extremely posable figures. You know, double jointed everything. Generally just like really easy to get posed up. Yeah, this like I've got a couple of their orcs. I've got a two-headed like ogre, and yeah, all of them, they always just handle like any like 1/12 action figure, but just bigger. Like they're just big old boys to throw into your fantasy collections. And I was a little worried when I first pulled him out because he's got a lot of floating pieces. The cool thing about a lot of Mety Toys figures is almost everything can be taken off. So like you can kit bash them into something else. But that means you get like a lot of stuff, that's kind of just sitting on the figure, but it doesn't get in the way when you start posing them around. Like maybe this waist armor a little bit, but you can still like really, really get this guy going. Like look at this. This is almost like here we can do like a big ol' high kick. Yeah, this is great. Whoops, I pulled an arm off. Well, that is to be expected. These are very kit bashable figures, which we will get to a little bit later, but you can see that just popped on perfectly fine, and when I am not so rough with it, and I'm still being pretty rough with it, it does not come off. This is like the best one of their figures I've pulled out yet, easily. Let's stand you there for a second, because like, just to compare, here is one of their orcs. I've had him for quite a while. You've probably seen him shown up in my videos. He is the thumbs up orc. And it's the same story. Like, these figures are just really, really good. I don't know how else to say it. They're just super fun to pose around in spite of being big, chunky figures. All right, let's try some part swaps because this guy comes with a lot of parts. So let's try a hand swap because that is one thing about Mety Toys I've had trouble with in the past is like it's big chunky plastic hands and sometimes they're a little tough to get on. Now, when I was pulling that hand off, this joint started to come apart a little bit. Could probably, hold on, let me grab my pliers. Pop that back together, hopefully. Yep, okay. That was a first. I've never seen that happen before. All right, let's see if it happens on the other side. Okay, so that was fine. And this was actually easier than usual. Like the one problem I had with Mety Toys figures in the past is like, just with like these big chunky hands and big chunky joints, sometimes it was hard to get the hands off, but that was easier than usual. Let's see here. How about this pointing hand? Now see, this is where the floating pieces can get kind of annoying because you're trying to push to get the hand on and you're grabbing onto the bracer here and that's just sliding. So this can be a little tricky. I'm kind of bracing at the elbow. I think I got it on there. Stop right there, criminal scum. Oh man. Yeah. So as is often the case with Mety Toys, the hand swaps are a little tough just because you're dealing with really big chunky joints. There we go. So like if you want it to be a little bit easier, you can heat up the hands and that will help a lot. Like these do feel pretty pliable, so if you get them really hot, I'm sure they will pop right on. But I am being a little lazy today because I film these videos very early in the morning. I don't know why I keep putting him back. We're not done. We should try getting a weapon into his hand because he comes with quite a few. And let's grab a gripping hand. Okay, now let's grab a weapon. How about this spear? So in this situation, it's just a matter of like getting the hands pliable enough to get the weapons in there. They don't come apart like you might see on some import figures. This is just a solid chunk of plastic. This is a slightly pliable chunk of plastic. So I'm gonna get him at this angle here. Let's try just kind of wedging it in there. That is a little tough. Okay, let's heat up this hand. All right, there we go. There we go. Okay. Sometimes you just got to get these things going with a little heat. There we go. Man, this guy is hard to get all the way on camera. He is quite big. But yeah, there you go. Once you get the weapon in his hand, he holds it very solid. Like that's not gonna flop around. So even though like it is a little finicky to have to kind of like get it heated up a little bit, it is definitely, in my opinion, worth it to have a figure that can really hold its weapons. Like this is not coming loose at all. And with the hand nice and heated up, comes off very easily. And swap in another one of his many, many weapons, which we will get into. So I think that is pretty much all I wanted to do for this section. We swapped some parts. We tried out his articulation. And yeah, that's our handling section. So I would say overall, this is what I expect from Mety Toys. Sometimes you got to use a little heat to get weapons into hands, but in the end, what you get is a really sturdy feeling action figure, and I appreciate that a lot, especially with how well it can move. So handling gets a thumbs up. Thumbs up orc dropped his axe. So next, we will take a closer look at the figure, check out the paint apps, all the stuff he comes with, and determine if he is worth the price. So let's get up close and personal with our tiger friend here. The actual paint on the figure itself looks really good, like really, really good. Look how clean like these tiger stripes are. We got nice fur texture on the sculpt itself. It's hard to describe because it's like everything does look really good. There's almost like, at least on the accessories, it feels like maybe it's not like the highest quality like ever. Like you do see kind of like some blemishes here and there, some mistakes, but like it's only if you like really get super close. And it's impressive like just how much of this is separate pieces. Like this blue belt here is, I think, is this separate from the armor? Okay, no, it is all one piece, but the fact that like, you know, this is sculpted separately and everything under it is painted is really nice. Like on, you know, a cheaper figure, this would just be glued here. And, you know, if you peeled these up, nothing would be painted underneath. Yeah, there's just a really good mix of materials here. We even got a little bit of soft goods hanging down under the belt. And like this detail does look really nice. Like whenever they need clean, crisp colors, you definitely see it. I might be just judging the metals too harshly. It does make sense that they're not going to look perfect. They should look a little kind of rusty or scratched, that sort of thing. Mety Toys always kills it, honestly. Like, I'm trying to be critical. Maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe I should just chill out a little bit because this looks really, really good. Like, man, look at that stare. That looks awesome. And as I talked, like, you know, I mentioned it a little bit in the handling section, but like he does feel really nice in hand. Like he doesn't feel like a cheap figure. This all is very chunky, solid plastic. Like nothing about this guy feels like it's going to fall apart. He is going to be very durable, just as much so as any like smaller figure that you might have. Like even like, oh, I didn't even mention, look at these ankle rockers. Like, yeah, really solid, well put together, very well painted figure. All right, let's look at all this stuff he came with because there is a lot. All right, we'll start with the weapons because he absolutely brought enough for the whole class. So first we've got a pair of these really cool crescent-shaped blades. Really awesome, like fist punchy, slicey weapons. Man, look at the detail. Like, it's very simple. Like it actually kind of reminds me a lot of like how Zezre does things. Like very clean paint applications, not necessarily a ton of like washes, although there's a little bit on there. Yeah, just in general, it's just a clean application of a variety of materials, and it just makes it look really good. Got this massive throwing star or throwing weapon. This is ridiculous. It's interesting, like it kind of feels like this should be attached to something. I looked through the instructions and the pictures, and yeah, this is just as it is, just a big, huge throwing weapon. Big old pair of tonfas. I think this is only the second time I've had tonfas in my action figure collection, but they look fantastic. Lots of good detail work on here, like these little tiger heads. They look fun. Yeah, these are great. Good for bopping. We've got this lovely sword here, which looks great. Like, look at that. It's funny how like it's just the way the light catches the edge, you get that cool like silver edge effect, but it doesn't seem like it. Yeah, no, it is kind of like, it's like airbrushed on there. That's what it is. That's why it looks so cool. You see how like as I tilt it, the edge starts to light up? That's so cool. All right, let's take a closer look at the scabbard. Also looks very nice. Looks like I've got a little bit of a wash smudge here. That's fine. Not a big deal. Yeah, great weapon right here. And we've got another sword. Really cool curved one. I gotta look up what this like little dip is called, but it always makes swords look cool. Yeah, this is great. No scabbard for this one, although I saw in the promo pics that you're supposed to use another accessory to fasten this on him. And we got a bendy tail. Let's see how it holds up. Yeah, not bad at all. It's definitely not the most pliable bendy tail I've ever held, but at least this doesn't feel like the wire is going to pop out of it. So we will stick this in his butt later. What? And we've got this fantastic spear that I can't get all the way on camera, but again, we got that really cool paint effect where the light catches the edge. Looks great. Nice variety of materials here. There's like the wrappings and there's the metal parts. Yeah, this looks awesome. Very similar in construction to like the tonfas. But yeah, man, I'm curious. We will see if there's a way to actually get all these weapons on him. I think I'm going to end up kind of like picking a loadout for him, and who knows, maybe we'll upgrade some other figures in my collection with the extras. All right, we got a canteen here. Looks really nice. Simple little wash on there, so it's not just brown plastic. Little nice paint job on the wrappings there. And there's loops on it, which I believe are meant to go with this little wired piece of cloth here, so you can give it like a little strap to hang on his belt somewhere. So we will try that out in the kit bashing section. We've also got a little talisman here, a little loop on it, so we will probably attach it to that same strap we were just looking at. Like a dry brush on there, maybe also a wash. Looks really good. And we got a couple of pieces that it looks like they're going to peg on him in different places and hold those weapons. So there may be hope for getting the whole arsenal on him. We will see. And I gotta say, this is kind of what sold me on him. He has a pet frog. Like, the figure looked cool. I was debating it either way, but then I saw that he has this frog friend, and it's like, what a great way to add a little bit of character to like a figure that, as far as I can tell, has no like official backstory. And the paint on this frog is not bad. There's even a little like horizontal pupil on each of the eyes. Yeah, great little frog. And we got this where I'm not sure what's like. I think it's supposed to be him like jumping off of him, so this is like an effect. But the fact that it's like it's kind of spindly, it's making me think of like the wire bugs from Monster Hunter Rise, where they would like have the bug that stuck with them and then like shot out with thread. But like, I don't know, like this isn't like coming out of the frog, right? I'm not quite sure what's going on. I do know that this pegs into this bracer here. So I don't. Is this like a launcher for the frog? I need to know more. Why are we launching the frog? Is he like he's like some kind of projectile? Oh, is he poisonous maybe? I I don't know. I need to know what the deal is here, but it is a very nice looking accessory. Like the way the tongue's coming out. Is that what frog tongues look like though? That looks very like elongated human tongue. I don't know. I don't know, man. But yeah, I just love that he's got a frog friend that he shoots at people. I think that is fun. So now let's look at accessories that are on the figure itself, because there's quite a few. So out of the box, he's got the fists, looking good. This great roaring head. Like, it's funny how like he looks a little bit more like, you know, kind of cool and collected when he's angled like this, but then when you tilt, he's like a little bit more manic, because they didn't quite like it's good that the pupil is more centered like that. So depending on how you angle him, he can look a little bit more like he is in control of the situation to like full on manic. Yeah, so let's look at the other heads and hands. So as far as hands go, we've got gripping hands and pointer hands. All of these hands I'm showing are in pairs. So yeah, so he can hold weapons in either hand. He can point with either hand. And here's a look at his alternate head sculpt. It's pretty similar, but with the, it's like doing more of a grimace, and you don't have like that kind of manic look when you look in other directions. Oh man, him looking over those huge like what I'm trying to say is like, you know, like when you angle it down and like the brow is there and like the eyes are just kind of piercing through a little bit. That looks really, really good. Yeah, great paintwork on the teeth and everything too. It's unfortunate that we only have like a snarl and a roar, but still, very good looking regardless. And that head was easy to pop on too. And finally, we got these hands that are like pressed to the ground. This is really nice to see. You don't often get this with figures. Like, so if you want to do like a 3-point landing pose, or just in general, like have their hands on the ground, this looks really good. These like stand on the table on their own, so you know that they will support the figure. And then we've also got like good old gesturing style hands. So you can do cool poses like this. Oh, we can't forget putting the tail in the butthole. What? Let's see how well that works. Oh, it is keyed. That's nice. Okay, so we got a little notch at the top of the peg. So we just have to line that up. Yeah, hold on. Okay, there we go. So it looks pretty good once it's in, but it was a pain in the butt to get in there. Probably a pain in his butt too. I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah, so once this is in, works pretty well. It is a bendy tail, but because it's keyed, there's no swivel here. So you're pretty much just limited to how much you can bend the tail and get it looking good. Looking good. I can talk. Kind of hard to get it to like hang, like but I don't know like how a bipedal cat would work. I don't think they would like just have it hanging down like a piece of cloth, right? Like it's probably always out a little bit, helping them keep their balance maybe. I don't know. I've really thought about the biology of bipedal characters with tails before, but tail is a good accessory. Okay, so this guy was pretty reasonably priced, especially keeping like tariffs into consideration. Like if you live in China or something, this guy is probably like the equivalent of maybe like 60 bucks, and considering everything you get, that is amazing. We got to pay a little bit more out here in the good old US of A, but like I can't really like knock the company for that. So I guess like if you live out here, it's up to you on whether it's worth the extra tariff costs and things like that. Like that is just how prices get adjusted depending on where you buy it from. But yeah, this is a very high quality figure that comes with a ton of really great accessories. So he gets a thumbs up for value. Yeah. Okay, let's scale this guy up with some other figures that I think he looks good with. Here he is with some other big boys from Mety Toys. So we've got an orc, And we've got their bear. Now the bear, I think, was when they were called Memory Toys. These Chinese companies are always changing their names. But yeah, he scales great with other large creatures like this. And here he is with some even bigger boys. We got the two-headed ogre, also from Mety Toys, on the left. And then we got Mr. Hyde from Loose Collector on the right. And some big boys from GYZ Studios. And one more pair of big boys. We've got the Fury Planet Blade Master Wing and the Fancy Realm Gold Dragon Warrior. And as many Mythic Legion scales that I could fit on one screen. We've got everything from Ogre scale to Goblin to Dwarf 2.0, 1.0, slightly taller 1.0. And as many other fantasy lines that I could cram on screen. So we got Savage Crucible, Lazy Monster Studios, InArt, Little Fury Toys Monkey, GYZ Studios, Frazetta Girls, and Nota. So yeah, like he's a larger figure, but you can see how he still fits in really well with even like 7-inch fantasy lines. So like he has that kind of, like if you need like a big bruiser in your adventurer party or something, like he is the perfect scale for that. And you notice too that like he's not as big as some of the other larger figures that you would see from Mety Toys or GYZ Studios. So he's kind of a really nice like medium height. Although that might be due to the way like the digitigrade legs are, you know, like you could probably stand him up maybe an inch taller, but yeah, I just really like his scale. It's nice to have a creature that is big, but not too big. So absolute thumbs up on scale. All right, finally, let's evaluate the overall kit bash potential of this figure. I'm going to customize him the way I want him and just kind of give my rating on everything that you can do with him. So the first thing we're going to do is strip him down. What? So I'll show as much of that as I can on camera, but this is a Mety Toys figure. So the good news is that you can just start taking stuff off. Actually, we'll leave that off for now. I did pop this arm off super easily, so we will do that again. And yeah, like this is the best part is that you can just pull things off of these figures. Like all this gear and stuff can just slide off. Fix that joint. There we go. And probably gonna need to pop the torso off. Let's see if I can just do it. Yeah, look at that. That was super easy. Didn't even have to heat him up. So then we can slide this off. And look at this. Is that elastic? It is. That's great. What a great cloth piece. Oh, and the tail was looped through it, so we can just slide that off. Set that down for a sec. I'm just gonna marvel at this. What a great accessory. Like just making this elastic, that's a huge, like that is such a nice little like quality of life thing and definitely helps it like stay on the figure. I might steal this for another figure. It's great. All right, let's keep going. So I think I will need to pop the feet off. This is the area where it seems like getting everything off might not be as simple. So I'll start with the feet. Can I just pop them off? Not easily, so I will do that off camera. All right, here is our buck tiger, mostly. I cannot get his feet off, and I don't want to push it any harder because honestly, I'm not going to turn this guy into an entirely new figure. Like I am going to customize his loadout a bit, but I am perfectly happy with this leg armor. But if you were to get the feet off, you would be able to take this piece and this piece off for sure. These knee pads appear to be kind of pegged in and glued, and with the feet, it appears to be the same deal. And you see these straps are actually sculpted onto the feet there. So you cannot get this guy to be a completely tiger base body for some other figure. That's too bad, but the fact that you can get him down this much is pretty cool. And like when you get him, you know, like when he's got no limitations to his articulation, like look at this. You know, he can really, whoops. I don't think I got that head quite on all the way. But yeah, like you can see how much more articulation you get without all that armor in the way. So he might just be getting that loincloth, and I might be ditching the waist armor because it is very cool to be able to get him in like this level of pose. That sentence could have gone better, but you get the idea. But yeah, if you wanted to change this guy's outfit to something completely different than what he comes with, you're a little out of luck unless you're okay with just keeping the leg armor. You could get a few pieces off, but you still will have some remnants on the knees and feet. I know that they do have like kind of more of a barbarian Viking looking tiger coming out. I hope that comes out soon. I'm excited for that one. And that will probably use most of this body, but I'll be curious to see how that one handles the leg armor. That's probably going to be different parts. So with all these parts taken off, let's take a closer look at them. Here's his like kind of shoulder cloak. This is a cool looking piece, but honestly, like the fact that it's not actual cloth and not wired so I can like have it, you know, flay out, I don't think I'm going to keep this on him. I may even try putting it on another figure, but yeah, I think this is going to stay off, as cool as it is. Same potentially goes for this waist armor. I am going to try it on him again just to really kind of push and see how much I can move his legs, but I gotta say, like, he wasn't able to crouch so much with this on, so it might stay off. We already talked about this. It's amazing. I'm gonna put this back on him for sure, and it might actually be the only thing around his waist. And then this was the wrap on his arm. Looks really nice. And it didn't hinder his articulation at all. I'll probably keep this. This huge pauldron for one of his shoulders looks awesome. Although like it was kind of falling a lot whenever I was posing him, so I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it. I kind of want to give this guy a little bit more freedom of movement, and that not having this on will probably help a little bit. And then I'm definitely going to keep this because it has the frog launcher on it. However, that works. Oh, and there's also this piece, which I probably will put back on him because it does look cool, and it's a nice way to kind of like break up a torso without like having it completely covered. Looks really cool. Love this detail. Look at all that. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to kit him out the way I want him, and we'll try out all the weapon storage with all these pieces. And once that is all done, I will see if I want to upgrade any of my other figures with the parts that are left. You come with me. Man, I love kit bashing. And do you know who else loves kit bashing? One of my contributor YouTube members, GYZ Toys. And we are going to take a look at one of his creations right now, because that is one of the perks with the contributor tier. I will feature one of your creations in my videos each month. And today we are looking at the Black Kurgan. He is Jose's tribute to sword and sorcery movie bad guys. He says that the head sculpt should be recognizable as General Kale from the movie Willow, which I still need to watch at some point. He is built on 100% Savage Crucible parts except for the custom head. I absolutely love this look. It's so clean. Like it's just a nice, straightforward dude in armor with a cool helmet. The fur piece on the back is a great addition to kind of give him a little bit of weight. And just a nice simple loadout of a curved sword and a cool shield. I really dig this guy a lot. Often, you know, I'm certainly guilty of this, I will kind of go nuts with some of my customs. I throw a bunch of cloth goods on there and give them like 5 weapons, and like there really is something to just like a nice simple look like this. And on top of all that, he's got a cool horse. The horse armor was made by Zhao Ji Ling, and the General Kale head was printed by Corey Schwarzenhofer and highly posable. But yeah, this is a really great custom, and I was super happy to feature it in this video. If you would like to have one of your creations featured in a video, like I said, pick the contributor tier. Fellow toy tuber Slinky Dink Customs also chose this tier, and I will be featuring one of his creations in another video. I also have a cheaper option for memberships, and that gives you access to a fun Discord server I created that's sort of like a little kind of mini wiki for collectors and customizers, and it's also a great place to hang out and show off your stuff. And among those wonderful members, we have Search, Damien, Ryan Colwell, GassyBoy420, and Carlos D. Cactus. Thank you to all of my channel members so much for your support. I'm really enjoying seeing my little community grow, and if you want to be a part of it, just get a membership. But you do not have to. I will never paywall any of my content, so if you just enjoy watching my stuff, subscribe, like, and all that, and you're good. Okay, back to the video. This guy was a lot of fun to play around with. I took him apart several times and resituated things, played around with all of his accessories, and yeah, this is the loadout I came up with, so let's take a closer look at it. So with the canteen and the little medallion, I just used that wired black piece of fabric and made a little strap here to attach these. And then with the red piece of fabric that came with the figure, I made this kind of setup for the sheath for the big sword. I played around with some other ideas for it, put it on his back, but I think like with something this big, it makes the most sense to have it sheathed at the hip. So, and there's plenty of room to kind of like maneuver it around so you can get that whole sword out of there because it's quite long. And then it was a matter of figuring out what of the rest of his arsenal do I actually want to have on the figure. And I really dig the tonfas because I don't have many figures in my collection that actually have tonfas. Actually, I don't have any anymore because I got rid of my my NECA Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden 2. So yeah, I don't have any tonfas anymore. All the more reason to use the ones that came with this guy. So I really like how they look, but there was not any easy way to sheath them. So what I did was I grabbed an extra piece of wired fabric from the Mety Toys Panda Warrior, and I made these two loops that hold the tonfas on his back, and that works out pretty well. And I decided to keep the waist armor. It actually does not hinder his articulation basically at all. I didn't realize it at first, but yeah, like when you crunch him forward, like it is not holding him up at all, which is crazy. And I decided to keep the shoulder armor because, as you can see, it is a fantastic perch for his little frog friend. So I decided that it needs to stay. And honestly, it doesn't hinder his articulation at all either, unless you want to like T-pose him. And honestly, how often do you actually want to do that? So yeah, I think he is looking really, really cool. And he did bring so many weapons with him, so I decided he needed to share. So he gave a spear to this Mythic Legions cat guy that I've been kind of upgrading video by video at this point, and I do really like him with the spear. It was funny because like last video I was excited that I finally found a use for one of the, actually I got it right here, that I finally like was using one of these, and it did look good on him, but I do really like him with the spear, so he is going to use this spear. It is definitely stretching the Mythic Legion's gripping hand a little bit, so what I'm actually going to do is let that tighten up again, and the Mythic Legion's gesturing hand also holds it quite well without getting stretched. It's not as secure as the gripping hand, but it certainly works for a display, and that way I'm not permanently stretching the hand out. So yeah, there's another upgraded figure. And finally, I was delighted to get a figure out that I haven't played with in a while. This is an undead rogue from, oh man, what do they call themselves? Like Grey Knight or Guardian of the Horde. It's another one of those Chinese companies that keeps changing their name, but and they're making definitely not World of Warcraft figures. But I thought he looked very cool with like the half moon hand weapons that this guy came with. I didn't really like the green kind of daggers that came with this guy, so I think this is a nice alternative. So yeah, like I said, you know, I took this guy apart and put it back together many times, no issues. Like generally part swaps on this guy are super easy, especially once you get the hands heated up and use them at least once. Oh yeah, and just to show how it works, even though I decided not to use it, there's this piece here, which hooks into the sword. And there is this piece, and this clips onto the scabbard for that big sword. And both of those pieces can connect to this piece, where you peg it in and you can hook it on to the straps that are attached to this like shoulder harness piece. So if you want to put any of the swords on his back, that's how you do it. I do kind of wish he came with two of these so you could sheath both of them. But you know, what are you gonna do? In general, I just was not really enjoying the look of these pieces, and I was pretty satisfied with the way I was able to sheath the tonfas on his back, so these will definitely get used for something else. But yeah, like I said, taking this guy apart was super easy, and it was a lot of fun to kit bash him, kind of figure out what parts I wanted to keep, what I wanted to leave, and it It was fun to also use his parts for other figures. So as far as like overall kit bashing fun and potential, huge thumbs up. Huge thumbs up. So final thoughts. This figure really surprised me. Well, kind of, because Mety Toys always makes really good stuff. But like my past few Mety Toys purchases were, you know, like big monsters and stuff. And I kind of almost treated them like, you know, a big boss for figures I care more about to fight. But this guy, like, he really like became a character by the time I was done kitting him out, putting him together. I think it's just like that little extra bit, you know, like with the frog companion and like all the different weapons. So like I really cared about how I put everything together, and I tried out all his different weapons. And then it was nice to, you know, distribute his weapons to other figures. So yeah, I really like this figure. Like I could see it potentially on like my top 10 list this year. It's a stacked year, but this is a really, really nice figure. Great articulation, super easy to kit bash, adds really great height variety to like a fantasy collection, especially if you like beast races, and yeah, just a really, really solid figure all around. Highly recommend it if you can get your hands on it. Try not to pay like hopefully it's not too expensive these days. You know, I pre-ordered mine on 5K Toys, and it was very reasonably priced. You know, they tried to really like eat the tariff costs as much as they could. But yeah, if you can get your hands on him for a reasonable price, then I definitely recommend this figure. And with that, let's get him into the case. Okay, here we go. So, if you've seen any of my videos before, you might have guessed where this guy is going. He has a slot. Oh no, frog! So he has a slot ready for him in the mythological animals display. So let's see if I can get him in here without knocking anyone over. Looking a little dicey. All right, nice. Look at that. Fix your hat there, buddy. Okay. Man, I really love this display. I gotta say though, like it's a little crowded. I do kind of want to spread them out a little bit, maybe divide this into like 2 teams, but yeah, I think he slots perfectly in there. He even like mirrors Blade Master Wing over there. The 2 tiger men flanking the cat people row. I didn't really realize it. Actually, it's funny. I'm starting to realize just how many cat people are in my collection. But anyway, cat people are cool. But yeah, that wraps it up. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.